Hello children, we will be doing something that I should have spent enough time considering to talk myself out of. But alas, here we are, and I will be reading this awful, dreadful book I wrote when I was 12 years old. It will be painful, but I promise it will be worth it. No, I don't. You are wasting just as much of your time as I am filming, retaking, and editing this. So yeah. Have fun. I need some perfume to save me from the stench of my awful writing. Okay, cool. We are prepared and we smell like oranges. Aha, here it is. This was basically my entire Year 7 experience, written down in the form of some cringy, awful story that basically everybody who was included in it knew they were being talked shit about. But because 12-year-old me was utterly pathetic, none of this shit was intelligently written, original, well-crafted, or even remotely engaging to read about. And also so depressingly boring and childish, it is too pathetic to even be insulting. The only thing insulting about this is how pathetic it is. I'm going to have to cut all of that down because my wording in all of that was dreadful. But don't worry, we've got some more dreadful wording in here, honey. Oh! Oh yeah, and the book is it's in dreadful quality because one of the people I wrote about in some not such glowing terms stole the book, read it, and was like, yeah, I didn't really appreciate that. I'm just stalling because I don't want to do this. It's getting very cold all of a sudden. This is the nerves coming in, or maybe I'm just moving about too much and it's not very warm today. Oh, and there are some lovely... fuck. It's falling apart. Jesus. There are some lovely vampiric dumb illustrations. They are so dreadful. I thought they were good at the time. I just drew them for fun mostly. But, like, it's so fucking just edgy. You know, r/I'm 14 and this is deep. That was me, but, like, I was 12, so it was even cringier. There is no I in team, but there is a me. We're not even on the book yet. That's just a note that I thought sounded smart. I don't know if I can do this. I also had a list of synonyms for worried. Worried being spelt with a singular solitary R. Apprehensive, for some reason, was spelt correctly, though worried was not. I don't know. 12-year-old me's mind just did not work at all, and we should not try to discern any rhyme or reason for his fucking machinations, his shenanigans. The first page has some more illustrations of it, of vampires and people being shot in the face, and werewolves. And it's too fucking cold. I am putting on a hoodie. I am comfortable now. I wonder if Onision-tier's gonna copy strike me for putting his name in my video title. The thing is, I don't know if he'd be interested in me because I'm over the age of 17, so he doesn't have any incentive. He's got nothing to gain because I'm too old to manipulate. Can you tell I was subscribed to him for 5 years and I'm still salty about him turning out to be an arsehole, even though I should have realised it years and years ago? It's fitting that this video shall be titled Onision-tier Writing, when in my time of writing this I actually discovered Onision. It was around 6 months before I made a YouTube channel, and the first thing I did when I had that channel was I subscribed to Onision. Actually, the first video I ever pressed like on YouTube was one of those horrible, dreadful music videos he did. Now that I've been stalling for 10 minutes and 50 seconds, it's time to actually get into the book. Oof, Jesus Christ. This book is titled The Stake, the Crucifix, and the Holy Water, so I think you may be able to gauge what the story might be about from this very obscure and subtle title. Oh. It's worse than I could have ever thought. This is unreadable. Look at this. What is that? Why is that a thing? I've gone over this. Like, I thought the second draft would be better than the first. Like, this had any merit to a literary agent or a publisher whatsoever. I didn't even know literary agents existed at the time. Okay, let's go. Saturday 30th, 2014. Oh yeah, it's one of those kinds of books. It was deep into the night. My white t-shirt had a hot chocolate stain on, and my 10-inch TV was stuck on static. Now see, that doesn't sound too bad. I've built this book up to be really bad, haven't I? That's not as bad as it could get. It's descriptive, it sets the scene fairly well for what a 12-year-old could do if they had very meagre writing abilities, but everybody seemed to think they were good for some reason. See, the problem with this is I had already used this opening on about 2 of my English pieces, and the only reason it was used here is because the piece that sentence was on got me my first ever A grade, and I wasn't even there at school to receive it. I was ill off, and then I had to be told once I got back that, oh hey, Luke, you got an A2, because grades used to have numbers and letters. Like, pick one, please. If you're in year 7 and you're watching this for some reason, which you really shouldn't be, where are your parents? You want to get those high grades earlier in the year. It'll just be easier. And the story I used that opening on was about Slender Man. Another thing about me in year 12, other than my obnoxious rapping, which made me completely infamous in my secondary school and a massive pariah and kind of made me hate my life a little bit, and made me subject to endless bullying, which I probably deserved, I had a massive fear of Slender Man. Like, sleepless nights, like hiding under the covers, wondering if he would get me fears of Slender Man. I went downstairs to tell Mum my TV was on the fritz. However, when I got fucking down, the wording is so bad. It's childish. This was 6 years ago. God, how I have improved. However, when I got down, her presence was weak. What does that mean? It sounds like I've just switched writer mid-sentence. When I tried to use unique and obscure words, well, about as unique and obscure as a year 7 would know, I was so bad at integrating them in a way that flowed and that was natural, that every single time, you can tell, I just discovered the definition of a word and I just tried to crowbar it in to make myself seem like a good author. I searched the living room for a while longer, eventually deciding that I was wasting my time. We are all wasting our time. I then discovered that she had already gone to bed, but had left the light on, which I thought was a bit hypocritical, seeing as she always complains when I keep the lights on. It's got an exclamation mark at the end of it, like it's supposed to be funny or something. I thumbed up the stairs and into my room, turning the light off after remembering there was such a thing as an electricity bill I didn't want to help pay again. Okay, that's the first instance that to my 12-year-old self I will allow was actually good. If I could steal that from myself and spruce it up a bit, put it into a story that isn't trash, it wouldn't be one of the standout lines, but in this, it is a standout line because it is actually not as dreadful as so far I have presented my writing to be. I traipsed around the room, racking my brain for a possible solution for my TV. In the end, I just chucked a wooden chair at it in a frustrated rage. I don't need to waste my time fumbling. I just changed tense mid-sentence. I mean, sure, if you're just writing a diary, you can do that. And in a story context, you could chalk it up to the character themselves not being particularly inclined to be grammatically correct. It still doesn't necessarily excuse it. I need my glasses for this shit. Went to bed, knowing I'd go spare when I saw the TV, because I would have forgotten tonight. It's just so choppy. It's horrible. It's dreadful. I'm 20 minutes and 55 seconds into filming this, and we've just finished the first page. Now, my writing was very big. It's like, maybe like 100 words a page, maybe a bit more. This is not standard page formats. Year 7 me was incredibly proud of himself for having reached page 100 in writing this. Looking back now, that was probably page 20 or 30 at best, which, yes, granted, is a lot for the year 7 of this calibre, but considering the only other things I had to do was homework, avoiding suicide, listening to Eminem, this is a pretty mediocre result of whatever free time I had. Sunday, 1st of December 2014. After the usual morning tiredness, My eyes felt as though they weighed tons and were glued together. This sentence doesn't even have a structure. It's just like two incomplete thoughts interrupting each other. After seeing the smashed TV, the screen shattered to fragments, I was sent into a fluster? I stampeded downstairs like a herd of elephants and told my mum that a robber had entered our house and demolished my TV. Fuck it. People read this. She told me I'd have to get a new one with my £125 savings from my birthday and Christmas. How oddly specific. Like, I just took random details from my life at the time and just shoved them into this book because I thought having these weird specific details made it good. And the only reason I thought it made it good was because it was personal to me. It's just kind of, hey, I'm me in this world and this is my story, you know? I'm the protagonist of this narrative. And then you grow up and you realise, wow, I was really stupid. There wasn't anything on TV today, so in mindless boredom, I put the news on before knowing what I was doing. It doesn't matter how you try to spin it. That's still something nobody would do. You may have noticed that this protagonist has not been named yet. That is because the name is dreadful, and also he doesn't actually get spoken to for a few pages yet. I don't know why they bother with the weather forecast. We don't need them to tell us what the weather is. Look outside, that's the weather. I stole that from Miranda. Oh, here's the introduction of the character's name. I've got another hour until I go to bed. Better do my homework. And then in brackets, I put, who are you and what have you done with Pepe? Pepe, like the meme frog, Pepe. Apparently it's like an Italian name or something. I think I have a cousin called Pepe actually, but like, that's the epitome of just finding a name because you think it sounds cool when really it just doesn't. Like, no offense to anybody who knows anybody called Pepe, but tell them their name sucks. Tell them their parents should feel ashamed for lacking such creativity as to name their child Pepe. May as well have called him Pee-Pee. Yes, my name is Pepe. I hate that name. Good, you fucking should, but being self-aware doesn't make you less shit. Here is all the mess that's on my bed that I cannot be bothered to clean. I just cleared out a space so I could sit on this chair, because all that stuff is usually just dumped on this chair. Like, welcome to my room. Here are all my possessions. I am human. Love me. 29.5 minutes, and we're on page 3. Shouldn't have left it at the last minute again, like I always do. Good to see nothing's changed. Monday, 2nd of December, 2014. And no, these dates were not accurate to real life. And you will begin to realise that later on when I just completely forget how to time. I was late for school today because I forgot my football kit. That's happened before. I hate football. I hate football. I honestly can't see what the point of it is. That was just 12-year-old me being ignorant. It's just a bunch of lunatics running around kicking a circular object filled with oxygen for 90 minutes. It's asinine. My best friend and I used to have this thing where the way of us greeting each other would be, hey, do you want to talk about how football is shit? And that's what we would do for lunchtime. We would start off with, that is football, kicking a circular object. And then we would just walk around the school like dunces and talk about the duncy stuff that our duncy selves would get up to. Let's get on with this so we can just get back to our lives of doing nothing in quarantine. Actually, yeah, I'm going to make this video as long as possible because you can't escape it. You haven't got work. Don't try to tell me you've got work. I don't get paid for this. I just want to waste your time. And it just talks about the PE timetable for like a paragraph. Of like, oh, the girls have this on this term, rounders, hockey, cricket, and then the guys have this. That's just padding. It's just unnecessary padding. But I didn't realise it was unnecessary because I thought you just made the book long. You know, I didn't realise that the stuff that's in books has to actually mean something. I pulled a muscle in my leg while running to school today. I especially hoped I wouldn't come across the bullies. Believe it or not, my bullies are mostly girls. I won't even comment on that. This group of girls, and I will change their names because I used the real life equivalents names in this story. Okay, our new bully gang is Tonya, she is the leader. Clarice, she's just one of the people who was there to pad the group. And finally Kristen and Sophie, who I didn't have to rename because they weren't actually a real person. But I also find it funny that the only original name in there is the most common female name in the world. Oh no, wait, no, there's one I forgot to rename. Okay. Because no one cares, we're gonna call them Shaniqua. I don't know how to spell that. This isn't even a sentence, it's just names. Jesus Christ. It took me one paragraph to write 4 letters. And the rest of it's just scratched out stuff. Wait, I think this is one of those friction pens. Let's see if I can rub away some of the... No, alas, we cannot erase the past. I arrived at school practically a second before my name was called in the register. I sat down and started drawing right through Mr. Burry's rant about the potential danger of smoking. All my instincts told me to run out of the room. Needless to say, I didn't. Dignity is still important in these times. You have no right to even use the word dignity. You monster. You blatherskite. You troglodyte. At French, I amazed the teacher with my knowledge of France. Bullshit. At English, I wrote a story, and it was so touching and heartfelt that the teacher was in tears when she read it. Bullshit. It's just bad. It's drivel. It's break time now. I wouldn't say I'm not adequately popular. That's not how you words. That's not how you English. But I'm not exactly popular in a good way. I get bullied an inhuman amount at school. Mostly because ellipses. I don't even know. You really should. You really should. Did you never realise your nickname was Parappa the Rapper? You fucking dick. You didn't shave your monobrow because you were scared of sharp objects. Maybe because I'm small and easy to pick on, and the bullies lift me up easily. I wish they'd stop. My self-esteem's plummeting to an all-new low as it is. We had double science today. We were talking about fossil fuels, no one cares. Another ridiculously easy lesson, shut up. Am I even learning anything at school anymore? Shut up. That remains to be seen. Shut up. At lunchtime I hung around with the cool gang. After about 10 minutes, Roy pointed at a girl in the direction of the popular gang and dared me to ask her out for him. I didn't see the point in arguing, so I just obeyed. I walked up to the gang. I poked the girl on the shoulder. Excuse me, I started. She turned around. I stopped mid-sentence. It felt like time had frozen as I gazed in amazement. Her green eyes shone like emerald diamonds. Emerald diamonds! Emerald fucking diamonds! Aha! Shone like emerald fucking diamonds through her wavy brunette hair that went all the way down to her shoulders. That's not that impressive. Pardon? She replied in a shy, quiet, slightly posh voice, flicking away a shining strand of hair near her eye. I murmured foolishly. Are you asking me out? She asked with a vague tint of surprise. No, he is, I stuttered, pointing to Roy. Oh, okay, she exclaimed, walking towards Roy. Oh, what's your name, by the way? I added, slowly, gaining confidence. Persephone, she replied. How dare you besmirch the name of Persephone like that, Mr. Master Luke Contino? When will you learn that your actions have consequences? I stared at her blankly. That's a fantastic name, yeah, but you don't have to name every single fictional character you ever write Persephone. We had religious studies today. No offence to Christians, but it's complete guff. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. I was like a neckbeard, but without the capacity to grow a neckbeard. I'm just not even going to read any of the religion stuff that comes up in this story. Geography followed religious studies. I despised the lesson. I got my first F grade on my birthday because of a test Mr. Red set. Other than that, my average grades in lessons are around C's to A's, so I guess I'm not the stupidest person in year 9? You tried to age this character up? How dare you? Frickers! I got home, laid in bed. Laid is not spelt like that. Almost all night thinking about Persephone. I think I'm in love. You have known her for 0 seconds, you bastard. Tuesday the 3rd of December 2014. I got picked on at school by... Tonya's gang talking to Persephone. Tonya's gang is very predictable. She'll insult me and the others will laugh in a ludicrous manner. And then they mimed around and made enraging kissing sounds. Such depravity. What frickers? When I told them that I already had a girlfriend, they told me I was an abysmal liar. Then I got made fun of further for not knowing what abysmal meant. I've looked it up now and it means terrible. After that abrupt, usual start to the day... How is it abrupt but also usual? After that start to the day, The bell rang. I learnt about nightlife and chivalry. Apparently, a knife starts training, and I wrote an entire page on what I'd learnt that day in history, skipping all of it, because no one cares. Actually, no, that's the only interesting part of the book, because it doesn't involve anything in the book. It's just stuff that actually happened in real life. You Neanderthalic, Paleolithic troglodyte. You hurt me. I had an art lesson after lunch. I loathe art because I sit next to Tonya, and the only thing I ever hear from her is criticism. Criticism, of course, being spelt with an S as opposed to a C. I finished my artwork early, so Miss... I don't even know what that says. Miss... Gonorrhea. I finished my art early, so Miss Gonorrhea let me draw on some scrap paper. Don't ask. Good, nobody's asking. The only thing we are asking is what is wrong with you. When I was walking home, I overheard a conversation. Oi, don't hit her, yelled a Porky, year 7. Why? Replied another year 7 next to him. It's animal abuse. Lol. Frickers! When will you learn that your actions have consequences? That's sexist, I called as I walked past. Then I got home and sped up the flight of stairs to my room. That's it. That's it. Nothing comes from that. Nothing comes from that, ever. Was that just the character trying to show that they were a good person? Or did I just only figure out what the word sexist meant? Or did I think the animal abuse thing was funny? I think a mixture of all of that, which is really depressing. As soon as I entered my room, I slammed the door violently. It lurched half off the hinges. Why? Why did you slam the door? The top hinge is about hanging off the wall. Oh, it's because they're poor. Okay, yeah, got it. I jumped onto my 3-foot-high bed. Why? Why? Why is it 3 foot? Why does it have to be that specific? Yes, my bed was that tall. But why does that matter? Some of these details are just not important. I laid being spelt incorrectly again, on my back and sighed. I put on some music, and in deep thought I envisioned a private world where I could just wander in solitude. r/I'm 12 and this is cringe. I love entering my little private world. It's a safe haven from the usual brutish everyday persecution I suffer from bullies. Then I imagined me and Persephone taking a long moonlit walk along a lonely beach. I know I can't stay in this imaginary world forever, and that I should step back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Oh, there goes gravity. Chuck. But it's nice to have a moment of silence, even if you are one of the noisiest children in Britain. Britain was spelt incorrectly. Not only was the B written in lowercase, but I missed the I after the T. I want to die after some T. This was a replacement for a poem. That was partly me being a shitty rapper and writing raps and wanting to write a rap, but it was also me ripping off Diary of a Wimpy Vampire. No, I refuse to read it. I refuse. At school today, Tonya's gang walked up to me and started hurling insults at me like C4s. I know I should tell the teacher, but I'm debating the effectiveness of it. Then they started giggling. If giggling was outlawed, the world would be a better place. At lunchtime, I asked Roy how to ask a girl. What, you mean that thing you already did for another person? You're such an idiot. He shrugged. Just get someone else to do it, he said in his constantly bored voice. I asked how Persephone was. Roy grasped the collar on my school shirt and bellowed at my face. What's it to you? He thundered. Why are you so angry? Chill out, I croaked, struggling to breathe. He let go of my collar. Roy can be really scary sometimes. She doesn't like me, he whispered. Oh, let me just turn back to page 6 quickly. There's an illustration I did, a little drawing, and I was so proud of this at the time and for a few months afterwards. It was one of the best things I'd ever drawn in my life. Looking at it now, it's very simple and very mediocre. How fucking thin is this character? Like, her arms are like half the length of her body. Where do her organs go? Do her intestines just like kind of travel through her arms so they have some space? Or, just for the record, I can't draw. I was good at drawing in year 4 when nobody had standards, and that's it. I kind of stopped drawing after about year 8. I caught a glimpse of a tear swimming down his scarlet face. I couldn't help but be happy. but I tried not to let it show. What an arsehole. Unfortunately, mostly for me, Persephone started hanging out with Tonya and company. Wait, what the hell? I can't believe it. I hope she doesn't start bullying me. It's bad enough that I'm bullied by 3/4 of the pupils in a school of 1,250. Just one more would drive me round the bend. I hope nobody tells her anything that might make me look bad. The thought of it leaves me in a cold sweat. I have never experienced a cold sweat in my entire life. Oh wow, we just broke the 1 hour mark on the video. I bet my battery is going to die and I'm going to lose all of this. So I'm just going to end the video here and then I'm going to restart it. So at least if my phone dies, I don't lose everything.